She's in love with him. And she loves the fact that she loves that he don't love her. Okay, so here we are. This picture right here. I finally went through my phone. I was able to scrounge up some pictures when I was in Kiev. So this was the airport in Ukraine. And yeah, I remember this was a time period where, like, you know, travel was just completely shut down. So the airport was like a fucking, it really was just a complete ghost town. It was like a library. No one was in there. So the video coming up, this is a video that I came across of me when I was riding a scooter in downtown Kiev. And like it was like the scooter. I love riding scooters there, man. The city's really built for it. Highly advised doing it. So this next video, this next clip was if you ever seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I never realized how much of a scumbag his fucking grandfather was. Like when they broke down the logic saying that he pretty much watched his family just wallow in poverty until he got a chance to go to a candy shop. So I just wanted to put it. I thought that shit was hilarious. But yeah, so these next coming pictures are just artworks in downtown Prague I stumbled across while making this next video. And like I said, man, the artwork here is just like, it really is quite incredible to look at. And it's just the thing is, here in Prague, man, like, when you're in the center, like, you don't go too far without seeing like incredible sculptures, artwork everywhere. And that's one thing that in Kiev, like, I didn't see a lot of this in Kiev. Like, they didn't keep art like that around. Like, if anything, Kiev felt more like the States. Like the way the buildings were built and, you know, like the focus on actual artwork and shit like that. It felt a lot more like the US, man. But yeah, this motherfucker right here, he looks like he's taking a selfie, but he's actually holding a cup. But like, it was the way he was looking up. As soon as I seen that motherfucker, I said, yeah, like, he looks like he's taking a selfie. So I'm taking that picture. So this clip, this is actually at what do you call it? A museum, a cathedral. And the cathedrals here, like, you can't feel the height and the massiveness of it, but man, they really do have some very impressive cathedrals here, man. Like, and again, the artwork inside of them are completely great. Highly recommend. Just, you can have a good time just being in Prague and just walking around and just walking around. And now it's coronavirus time. There's not a lot of people out, but you'll see, like, with me walking around this video, this was last night. Is a lot more people out, but it's nowhere near the amount of people that are usually out, especially, what was it, today's Sunday, so this was Saturday night. It's usually way more people out than this, man. But so yeah, this where we are now. We are next to Novi Smíchov. We're gonna walk. Novi Smíchov is the mall in the Andel area, and it's in Prague, but it's kind of like the outskirts of like the center. So when you're out here, you'll definitely find things that, you know, are more reasonably a little more reasonably priced, because it's not in the center where, like, you know, it's super duper tourist condensed area type of shit. Like, but there is still a lot of like random English and stuff like that you'll come across. It's pretty much like the perfect area if you don't like a lot of tourists. So there's not so many like fucking tourist traps out here. But there's still enough. There's enough, you know, foreign people to where you don't feel like you're completely living in their world, like, you know, in the natives' world kind of thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, this area, this is where you stop to get the tram. I'm just gonna walk through this. To the left of me, there's DM, and I don't know if you guys were paying attention earlier, but like, there's a lot of stores. Okay, for some people who are watching this, they know exactly where I am. But for those who don't know, like, we're in quarantine, so like all the restaurants and stuff are closed, man. So like, I really wanted to make this channel where I, like, you know, eat different foods and shit, but everything's just closed. So this is pretty much like all I'm stuck with, other than this, and maybe, like, you know, just cooking something from the store and like record myself, you know, going over the texture and taste of what something may taste like. But yeah, so this is essentially like all we're left with. But yeah, it's a lot less people, and everybody's wearing a mask because we're back on quarantine, at least I think for the next 4 or 5 days or something, until November 20th. Everybody's doing the mask thing. It's not a lot of people out for a Saturday night, because people really aren't even supposed to be out right now. But like, this is the second time of us going through it, so motherfuckers just don't care like that. Like, the first time, people was like really trying to stay indoors because nobody really knew what coronavirus was, and these rumors was floating around. So a lot more people were, you know, they were more weary about it. But now, like, no, like, we're under quarantine now. You see how many motherfuckers walking around on Saturday night. So like, it's clear, like people are slowly like not afraid of it as much as they used to be. Like, so you see the H&M right there, they're closed on a Saturday. And this is like Saturday, like at like maybe like 5 p.m. So it's not like super late. It just gets dark a lot earlier here. But it's like 5 p.m. in this video, and that's Novi Smiko's directly in front of me. So the only reason like that mall's open is because like their grocery store is called Tesco is in there, and the grocery stores are open. So because you got to buy food. So it is a big. It's okay. So in the states, it's like the equivalent of like I don't know, like a fucking like it's just a big ass grocery store in the mall that you can go shop in. That's what it is here. So they left the mall open so you can go to the grocery store to shop. And next to it, there's a Starbucks. They're closed. Like, so much shit is closed, man. Like, I was thinking while I was walking, like I can't wait for shit to like go, at least somewhat back to normal, where you can just stop anywhere and get something to eat. You can stop anywhere and drink. Because I was actually talking about because. I was going to buy a car. I bought a car. The shit didn't work out for other reasons, not nothing to do with me, but other reasons why it didn't work out. But I was thinking earlier about buying a car, man. But like when you're in Prague, like financially, it's just not really worth. In my opinion, it's just not really. It's more of a hassle to own a car, if anything, because when you own a car here, you gotta you're gonna have to park it somewhere, and to park somewhere, it's gonna be you're gonna pay. Spend at least $5 to park it. And then that's not to count like if you go out, you meet some friends, you start drinking. Well, now you can't drink and drive, so now you got to leave the car there overnight. So it's going to run you about $50, $60 to leave a car anywhere parked overnight, unless you just park on the street, get a parking ticket. And it's actually cheaper to get a parking ticket than it is to leave it in a garage. Because I got about 3 tickets, and it's about $20 every time I got a parking ticket. Whereas the times I left it in garages and came back and got it, it was like probably about $40, $50 the next day. So now I'm thinking about it, it's financially, it's a better option to get a parking ticket and shit than to leave it in a garage. But yeah, so I pretty much deduce now to like I'd rather just not own a car and just have my groceries delivered from Tesco or wherever the fuck, and just catch the tram everywhere, or just call an Uber. Because I was just doing the math on it, like owning a car here, it really just kind of ends up like being much more of a hassle than anything. It really does, because I own 2 cars here, and the whole time it was always a constant hassle where the car is and blah blah blah. But yeah, so this is going to be the end of this part of the video. And the next part, we're going to be at Prague Castle. Well, not exactly Prague Castle, because they closed that down too. But we're going to be close to Prague Castle, where you can see pretty much all over Prague. So yeah, here it is. Here comes the next part of the video. So yeah, thanks for watching. And I'm going to touch on some topics in this segment here.
You have to pay for it. Do you have to pay for it, or you can see?
You gotta pay for it. The joke's on them. I got a better view, and I got a better telescope at home. Is it recording now? Okay. So, all right. So, real quick, there was a question that came in about how does a man learn his purpose in the world, and that's a really good question. Because every man is going to have to figure out his own path in life, ultimately. Just like every woman, everybody has to figure out their own path. And the more important part is understanding that just because you don't find it the second you want to find it, doesn't mean that you'll never find it. And it also kind of goes to the other situation of when you try to look for something, it kind of turns to that scenario where you are trying to catch a butterfly. It's that old scenario I always bring up about trying to catch a butterfly. Like you're trying to catch a butterfly, and I mean, if you try too hard, like a lot of times you're just gonna find that you're just gonna have a lot of wasted energy. You might fall into depression because now you can't accomplish the goal you're focusing so hard. Like in many cases, man, what I find is that usually the most efficient way for most men, since a guy asked me this question on how does a man find his purpose, this is going to be more directed towards men. In most cases, men usually do better when they stop focusing so hard on the one thing and just go and just work on themselves in pretty much any other way. You can make model ships, model cars. You can learn how to you can learn like the fucking rocks that are used to make fucking steps, and learn all the different types of rocks and where they come from, and how to properly maintain them. Anything you do, man, just my advice in these situations is just take time to either learn. You could take time to learn things, build things, work on things, or you can just take time to just exist and just be alone, right? Just exist. Just there's nothing wrong with doing nothing. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people don't talk about. Doing nothing. Sometimes you just need to heal sometimes from something that you're not even realizing that you need to heal from. Or maybe sometimes you just need to just take a break. Just do nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. All right. And I think that is a situation. I think it's one of those things that it was. I don't want to say it's a bad thing, but it kind of got poorly translated into our generation, that you always have to work. You always got to be productive. You got to be productive. Productivity. And it, for some people it can work, and for other people it may not work. And I think it's one of those things that really should be talked about more amongst men, especially amongst men who are are grown from that past generation, who kind of were instructed that method of dealing with the world of, oh, well, you got to do something productive. Got to do something productive. I got to be productive. Like, no, you don't always have to be so super productive. Sometimes it would benefit you more to just exist. Just look at the fucking view all day. Just hang out. Like you will get it. You will finally get it. So with that being said, the next step is this: how to find purpose. Believe it or not, like every day you are awake, every day you are walking, talking, eating, like you are still learning. You're still, because you could be learning. Okay, in this mode, let's say you're a man who lost purpose and lost your sense of self, right? It happens to everybody. But let's say you're in this boat right now. Well, in this boat, you are learning how to deal with it. You see what I'm saying? Like you may not be realizing you're learning, and so when you're learning how to realize it, you're slowly getting, like, every day you're in it is one less day you have to be in that area of not knowing. So every day you're in it is one less day, meaning you're moving closer and closer to the end. But see, you also have to think from the other perspective. There is another guy who they might have just fell into that, and they have no idea where to start. So you've already been down this road. You've traveled the road. You know what's going on. So now you can say, oh yeah, I've been there. So now I can help. I can go back and help, Todd, Randy, whoever the fuck, and and get and help them out, and that can be your purpose. So like finding purpose in life. Like, everybody is going to have a purpose. Everybody on the planet has a purpose. I think the biggest the biggest issue is the individual realizing it. I mean, let's just take, for example, let's say Jimi Hendrix, for example, right? Jimi Hendrix played guitar, blah, blah, blah. Did you ever think about who actually sold Jimi Hendrix or gave Jimi Hendrix his first guitar? Or did you think of where whoever gave Jimi Hendrix his first guitar, where they had to buy it from? Or that store that was built, the motherfucker who came up and built that store, or the person who first ran out? Everything's connected, man. So so if you ever find yourself in that mode of lacking purpose, I say step one, accept it. Accepting whatever issue you have is going to be the first and usually the biggest step in figuring out a solution. That rejection of it, that all that does is just postpone it even longer, or it either postpones it harder, or it makes it more difficult to finally get out of it in a more smoother transition. So acceptance is number one, and number two, just keep moving. Now, keep moving doesn't mean, like I said earlier, I'm not trying to say stay productive. Don't focus on producing things. Because if you focus on it, then it's going to start putting pressure, and you got to do more. And what usually ends up happening is you're going to burn out. Okay, you're going to try to work all day, and you work for promotions at some job, and you try to please everybody, and you do all it, and you keep doing all this, and then what you're going to find is you're going to get burnt out, and you're not going to give a fuck. And and you might not touch a weight or a job or try to please anybody. You may not touch it for 6 months, and then go completely down a whole other path. So step one, I say acceptance. Step two, exist exist while realizing no matter what you do, you are still working to an end. All right, you are still working to a solution, even if you're not intentionally working. You're still working. Like you're learning how to exist in this area of not knowing. You see, and then step 3, well, you'll finally get there and you'll figure it out. Now that is kind of a more like fast, condensed version of it. I can't go deeper into it if anybody would like me to, but that's just my quick overview about the topic. So yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, have a good day. Bye.